welcome to episode 116 of Knitting Samurai and Her Guys video podcast. I'm your host Steph, also known as the Knitting Samurai. It is February 9th. It's a snow day for us. It's the evening. Tristan's down, Steve's reading to Roland, and I thought I'd squeeze in a podcast right now. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great week so far. The cats are completely weirded out that I'm sitting here talking, and they're like, they want to get on the table and see what I'm doing. And I'm talking with my hands a whole bunch because I'm excited. I'm trying to go fast. So let's get straight into it. No notes, just surprise podcast. First up, in my Fat Squirrel Speaks. Here we go. Fat Squirrel Speaks bag. Isn't this the greatest bag ever? And it matches ever so well with my Miranda sweater. So, the Miranda. 4 skeins down. I'm on the 5th. I have not enough hands. So, that's how much I have left to finish this thing. I would say this week was easier going than the last time we spoke. Pretty straightforward from here on out. After the sleeves split, it wasn't too confusing. I understood the directions very, very clearly. Let's see. So there you go. That's how far I am. I have 6 rows to go until I do the bottom edging, so I'm super excited. We went on a car trip this weekend up to my in-laws, and I was very meticulous in my knitting packing. So I packed this for in the morning, and I did the pocket cables, thinking the 3-hour car ride in the morning, that'd be interesting to knit. I packed blanket squares for during the day for visiting, just because it's a little bit interesting, but keeps me going. And then I packed black 2x2 rib socks for at night, because I don't like to knit them. So if I'm in the dark and I'm knitting them, I don't see the black, and it doesn't matter, and I'll just knit like I would normally knit and not have a cool colored stripe that I'm missing out on, you know, by just doing the black. Anyway, so I had my 3 projects in mind, and I did get to knit a little bit more on this during Tristan's nap. So it took me about 3 hours to knit the pocket, which I think is very cleverly designed and integrated into the cables of the body. I was, let's see, at the end, when you split off for the pocket, I was 4 stitches off. I got those back in line. Yeah, it was smooth sailing, like I said, you know. So I do have the sleeves still on holders, so after I finish the bottom 6 rows and then the ribbing down there, I'll move back up to the sleeves and finish those. So by next week, probably. I didn't touch it for a good 5 days. I just set it aside and worked on another project because I needed to. I needed to be doing something different. So, Miranda. And remember last time I talked about wanting, So remember last time I talked about wanting to knit Valentine's Day socks? I cast on a toe with some opal that I had out in the garage. It wasn't labeled, or the label's been separated. And I did about that much of the toe and realized it wasn't a self-striper, it was just a variegated. Frogged it. That's not what I want to do. I want to do self-striping. So I think these are going to be my Valentine's Day, although Valentine's Day is like 5 days away. So they're late, but those will be the next pair of self-striping socks I'm going to knit. And this is Croy Socks Effect in the Celestial Colors colorway. So I really like it. It's a barber pole yarn. But also in this bag, I have, are you ready? Some blanket squares. I know, the back on the needles. So it's been since September since I worked on my barn raising quilt. But that's okay. That's what I needed to do in order to get, I think I have 8 skeins, little mini skeins of leftover sock yarn that from socks I've knit between September and now. So great. This is the first one. So these, you'll recognize this. This is what prompted it, because when I cast off my mom's Harvey socks, this is patent Croy, I wanted to use that yarn some more. So I immediately cast on for the blanket square. So there's that one. And those are socks from my mom. Here's this one. This is a Regia stretch yarn. I think it's color number 86 teal. Actually, I know it is because I just put it in my project notes. And this was one of the first 5 pairs of socks I knit. I followed the Nutkin pattern, and I made one twist one way and one twist the other way, and they both twist up my foot. The pattern is biased, skewed, is how it turns out. So there's that. So those are for me, old yarn. Then this is Opal Smoky Eyes and Colored Lips. And I can't remember the colorway number, but it's in my project notes. And these were my first pair of Fish Lips Kiss Heels that I knit this summer that fit me. So there's that. Started out for Steve, but then they fit me. And then you'll recognize this one. This is Opal Sweet and Spasset 2 in the Cake Pops. So these are socks that I knit for my sister-in-law. And the Opal ones take about 15 grams if you're thinking about knitting your own. Barn raising quilt, because it is a good time. So I have a few more on the needles that I will show you next time. I do have every 4 squares I finish, I take a picture and put it on my project page, and then I share them with you. So until I have a bunch of 4, I don't share them. So there's 4 more. I think I counted today. I'm at 36 squares. Yes, 9 times 4 is 36. And I am shooting for 77 for my finished size. So, and I am trying to make all of mine self-striping squares. So yes, I know this isn't a self-striping, and there are a few of these mixed in. I might end up making a second or third blanket with the variegated, because I have a lot of variegated sock yarns in my stash, and making small ones of those and giving them to the boys, and doing the self-striping for me, because I want that. So yay, barn raising quilt back in action. So it's Finish Your Frog at February, and we're 9 days in. So far I frogged the Lacy Rib socks, which was this beautiful shade of opal. It's a rainforest, so it's an old yarn. I had cast them on in January 2012 and hadn't even gotten to the heel. So it was Lacy Rib Socks by Wendy Johnson. It was out of her Socks from the Toe Up book. Great pattern. I remember Roland was like 4 months old when I cast them on. And I thought it would be a great project, and then something else interested me, so I put it aside. But it's a really pretty beige, peach, purple, pink yarn. So it deserves to be something else. So I did make sure that when I rewound it, the yarn that had been knit is on the outside, so it's got a little bit of a little bit pulling on it versus being in the center of the cake and having everything compress on it. I want the yarn to kind of stretch back out without having to wet it. Oh, do you like my hair? I know, this is crazy snow day hair. So that's my first project for Finish Your Frog at February. The second one is in this lovely Delicue bag, which is not very travel friendly. I need to put it into a better bag. Oh, maybe that'll motivate me to work on it more. So this is The Grace by Jane Richmond. I'm using tacky, it's a discontinued tacky Stacey Charles yarn called New Tweed. Can't get it, but it is a 70% merino, 15% silk, 11% cotton, 4% viscose yarns, about 100 yards per skein. I have a mountain of them at a time. It's one of the oldest yarns in my stash. So anyways, this is great. I'm not going to put it on just because I'm afraid to stretch it out if I put it on backwards. So that's how far I'm getting it. I'm putting it on backwards right now. It is a cardigan. So the lace on this is messed up. So the pattern is a fingering weight pattern. This is a worsted weight yarn. I adjusted my needle size. No, what did I do? I am knitting a smaller size than I actually am so that I get the right stitch count for the weight of the yarn, right? For my gauge. Perfect, it worked fine. Cast on, started going. This lace pattern is 1 stitch off from what's in the design, and I didn't realize it till I was much further along. Linus is now sniffing you. So I was much further along, and I looked at it and said, this lace pattern is fine by me. So it's more like a lattice, I want to say, than what the pattern is. I don't know how well you can see that. I was like, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it per se, it's just not exactly what the pattern calls for. So at this point it's kind of inspired by The Grace by Jane Richmond, but not really. You know, I'm following her math. So there'll be a button band to finish it off. I measured it out, I tried it on, it fits, it's great. As you can see, I have this much down of one sleeve, and I think I did that to make sure I'd have enough for some reason. I think I wanted to do both sleeves to the length I wanted, and then whatever I had left I was going to put into the body. But now that I'm remembering there's a button band, I don't know how useful that'll be, but at this point it's like stockinette stitch for 8, 9, 10 inches. It's a lot of inches of stockinette stitch. So I'm sure I won't finish it for February because I am focused on the Miranda, but knitting the Miranda has really invigorated my sweater knitting and made me say, oh yeah, I want to do that. And how cool is it to pick up one that's like so far along already? Like, just go and you'll have a sweater in no time. So I know the fun part is always the exciting, the cast on, the new project, the beginning, but I'm still excited, right? So I've done like 2 rows. I put in a stitch marker so I could see how much I get finished in February. So yeah, 2 rows. But I do want to share that that's back on the needles, up and coming. You will see more of it. One more thing to tell you about the Grace. I did cast that on March 2013. So it's good to have that back. It's not quite March yet, but it's kind of like the right time of year. It feels like it's the right time to be knitting with that, if that makes sense to you. And I also want to throw out the Miranda. I forgot to mention this. The Ravelry group for this podcast, we are having a knit along. So if you are knitting a short sleeve sweater that's sort of similar to the Miranda construction or is a Miranda, and you can finish that by February 28th, go on in there, chat it up, post a picture of the finished object in the thread, and tag your project with hashtag Miranda 2015 Cal. So that's the last of that. Oh, okay. And then one last final project to share with you. And this is Linus. I don't know if you guys can see him, but he is sitting here with us right now. The final project to share is my 3rd Finish It or Frog It February project. So that is a knit along of sorts being hosted by Tina of the Knitting Blooms podcast. And if you don't watch her, you should. So these are what I call my potty socks. They were cast on, I think, last September, maybe August time frame. This is Red Heart, Heart and Soul. Yep, in the Blackjack colorway. I am knitting them, I'm going to guess, on US sized 2.25 millimeter needles, big 2s, or big zeros as I would think about it. I'm not wild about this color, and I think the reason I stopped knitting them, thanks Linus, yes, make a lot of background noise, buddy. The reason I stopped knitting them was that this was my first attempt at a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I didn't like the way it turned out. It's too short. So my second pair turned out great, and I finished them and I wear them, but this one, I'm gonna have to gift it to somebody. So that was why they ended up on the back burner, and at this point I have so much done. I mean, it's only 1 sock, but I'd like to just finish it. And honestly, I want to get this yarn into my blanket. So just push on through. So I have a little stitch marker here to mark when I picked up. So I have knit, 5, 6, 8 rows, probably 6 rows. Not a lot. Probably not going to be real tall socks, but that's the 3rd project. So for that. What else do I have to share with you? I don't know. I don't think I have any video of the boys. Tristan is officially crawling, and officially has his 2 front teeth, two top, 2 bottom. He's pretty cute with his little teeth sticking out there, although he has been not feeling so great lately, so that's a little sad for us. What else is Ro doing? Nothing. I looked at him today, we were home, and I asked Steve a question about, I know we were watching Brave. I asked Steve a question about why the dad did something, or I don't remember, and Roland explained it to me. And I just thought, wow, this guy is a person. I mean, he still needs to be supervised, but he sat down and he ate his dinner. I cut it up for him, but I put a plate in front of him. He sits down, he eats, he wipes his mouth, he takes care of himself, he goes to the bathroom. Like, he's a person. He's almost 3.5, just shy. It's just amazing to me how quickly this journey has turned him into something other than the little baby that he was when we first met him. So I'm feeling a little nostalgic today because Tristan woke up from a nap around 12 o'clock. We went in and he was sitting up in his crib and he had pulled the mobile down and was playing with it. Great. I'm so happy for you, my son. But his crib was on the middle setting, so clearly he's about to pull himself up. Like today he pulled himself up holding onto the couch. So he dropped it down to the lowest setting, and I just looked at Steve and it's like, oh my God, 6 months ago, this setting, this exact crib was where Roland was sleeping. Like, I know Tristan's gonna be in this bed for a while, and we did keep Ro in a crib longer than most people till he was 3, but I say that. I don't know what most people do. I assumed that was longer than most people, but Oh, my babies are growing up. Tristan's wearing 18-month size clothes as of today. I put on, as of 2 days ago, I put on a couple outfits and they fit perfectly. So it's like, okay. The 12th month was getting snug, so. And tomorrow he's 8 months old. I know. Okay, I'm getting a little teary. I don't know if you could see it. I did place an order with Fibernet. And I got some new project bags from Amy Beth. So I'll share those with you in the next episode. In the meantime, enjoy what you're knitting, and I'll talk to you in about 10 days or so. Hopefully be wearing a finished Miranda next time you see me. Maybe I'll start an Irish coffee because Amy makes it sound so easy to knit, like it knits itself. So take care. I'll catch you later. Bye.